This segment of Thoroughbreds Argo is brought to you by Inglis, celebrating graduates both on and off the track. One of the best things I love covering the equestrian world in Thoroughbreds Argo is seeing so many young riders on thoroughbreds excelling in competition. Charlie Richardson is one such rider, a son of Blair and Nikki Richardson, both competitive riders themselves and running Vantage Hill, a breaking and pre-training establishment for thoroughbred racehorses. Charlie is excelling on the back of his thoroughbreds and heading for bigger things. Charlie, fantastic to see the work you're doing. We'll talk about two very different thoroughbreds, one that's an established four-star eventer and another one who's a young mare just coming through. But tell us about your daily routine, because you're riding the breakers in the morning and then you have your competition horses that you're getting prepared and schooling in the afternoons. It's a busy life.
Yeah, thanks Caroline. Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to be still living and working at home. Mum and Dad do a breaking in pre-training spelling business, so in the mornings I'm riding breakers throughout the morning around our track, which is great, yearlings, and then in the afternoons I've got a bunch of equestrian competition horses that I'm working and keeping fit, which is a good balance. I think I get to learn a lot about the younger horses, and seeing the progress that they achieve each day is quite rewarding, and then I get to sort of channel that into my equestrian horses. And I mean, we're competing most weekends, eventing, and I've got a nice few thoroughbreds in those horses that I'm eventing, which are proving to be quite successful and showing a bit of upcoming ability, which is exciting, yeah.
And of course, Mum and Dad, their backgrounds, both of them, Nikki Bishop, as your mum was, and Olympian, and Blair, your father, you know, both elite Australian eventers. It's not something that every kid follows on, what their parents did, but what hooked you into wanting to ride, and in particular, thoroughbreds?
Yeah, I guess I've been bred into it. You could say I've got a good dam and sire. But yeah, I mean, we did pony club as a kid, and I had a good bunch of friends that were doing it as well, which was always nice, and I had a few good ponies. And then when I was about 12 or 13, I actually got first sort of thoroughbred from Melbourne that took me up to about 2-star, and it was my first real taste of eventing. And he was obviously a horse that was very good at galloping, and he was a bit of a cross-country machine. And I think everyone who events say they do it because of the cross-country, and because that was his strongest phase. I did quite well in that, and that's sort of what got me hooked. From then, yeah, I've had another couple of thoroughbreds since. A few years ago I had a horse, Maverick, who I had a lot of success on as a young kid, and fortunate enough to win a 6-bar at the thoroughbred titles. And with the introduction of all the thoroughbred classes in the show jumping, it was a good incentive to get these off the trackers and do these classes. So I've had a good bunch of horses sort of throughout my establishing years, but I think having my parents so involved in it has also been a big factor to me enjoying it. And obviously as a kid, seeing them at the higher levels was always pretty inspiring. So that's sort of been my only focus, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, may well you put your hand in the air, young man.
The Thoroughbred Sport Horse competition, I mean, we see a lot of other competitions, you know, in Victoria, the Boneo Park, and there are Werribee competitions and Equimillion here, but Thoroughbred Sport Horse, Chrissy Harris did such a good job. Tell me about the 6-bar, because we have great vision of you from jumping that 6-bar. What's it like? Because it's a precision thing, isn't it? Like the bounce, stride sort of thing, and then onto the next. Do you really enjoy that? It's like a hyped up competition, isn't it? It's like Big Bash cricket sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a novelty event. It's not that common. Like it's not a professional sort of event. It's more of a fun thing that people have put on. Yeah, I've done it there and at a few inter-schools, and you always just sort of go in it because it's fun and all your mates do it. Yeah, Chrissy Harris has set up an unreal facility down on the Central Coast, Stonewall Equestrian, and we've been very lucky that she's put on a lot of thoroughbred classes, which has been really great, and also that Strawberry Hill has thrown a lot of support, which has been great as well, and they've put on these thoroughbred classes amongst these big warm blood shows just so that people can, even the big show jump riders can get these thoroughbreds and give them a life after racing. Yeah, no, the 6-bar, it was a few years ago now, but it's probably one of my highlights of riding thoroughbreds. Maverick was a good old horse, and we managed to win that jumping, I think, about 1.75 m, which was a bit exciting and probably quite scary at the time as well. I mean, it's 6 jumps in a row, and you need to keep a lot of balance in the horse, but also a lot of leg because they're getting quite big by the end of it. And I was fortunate enough that my horse on the day was feeling like he had springs in his leg, and we were fortunate enough to win it. But no, it was good fun, and we enjoy the thoroughbred classes that are put on and those sort of events, yeah.
And so, talking about your elite horse, you were riding here today, doing some schooling. Remington Hill, his racing name was Reminder by Crowded House, who was by Rainbow Quest. So that Quest for Fame line, which has done really well in jumping with its show jumping eventing in Australia for a lot of years. Ex-Remy, a Centane mare, so a good source of equestrian horses as well. This sort of a horse, tell us, the feel he gives you, because obviously as a 4-star eventer, that's elite.
Yeah, so we purchased him about 18 months ago from event riders Sam and Nikki Lyle. Top level eventing does require a lot of endurance when you get to 4 and 5-star. The courses are over 5 kilometres and going at speed, so having a thoroughbred immediately puts you at a big advantage as they're bred to gallop. So my horse Remy, he's a big rangy type, and he's got an unreal gallop. That's a massive indicator that we look for when we're buying horses, to get them gallop so that they can make the distance and not tire at the same time, because they're big solid obstacles on cross country. We don't want them to tire, and that can lead to falls or run out. So it's quite important that you have horses that are naturally fit and can gallop, and yeah, he's a horse that finds that quite easy. But then he's very versatile. Like, they also eventing, 3-day eventing, they need to be, the dressage is very influential now. They need to be very nice on the flat and have good movement, and he's got all that as well, which is really quite exciting. We've only just stepped up to 4-star level the last 6 months, but he's proving to have all the ability to stay at that level and potentially sort of look at going 5-star in the next couple of years, or we'll see what happens. But we're really pleased that we've got him in our stable, and the fact that he's a thoroughbred is also really great, because Mum and Dad have had some really great thoroughbreds in their day when they were competing at the top level. Some of their best horses have been thoroughbreds purely for the fact that they've galloped around the cross country, and they've got the distance and the time, because the time's quite tight as well, cross country, like the optimum time that you have to. So there's not much time for setting up between your jumps. So
you need to run right at it.
They need to keep going. And I mean, we do a little bit of breeding for performance horses, and I think people now are more trying to breed a lot more thoroughbred into their competition horses, for that fact that they have to gallop and have the stamina. Yeah, no, it's all very exciting.
And then at the other end of the spectrum, your Totsu, or Totty as you call her, who's by Morris, the great Japanese champion, out of a more than ready mare, granddaughter of Sugar Babe, this mare too. She was a good smart filly too. But this was interesting because she sort of refused the water, but then when you put her back at it again, she sort of looked at it and jumped, and so she wanted to get it right for you, didn't she?
Yeah, so your Totsu's just been a recent addition to our competition horses. Our good friend Chris Hopkins secured her off the track and has kindly given me the ride just to start her eventing career. She's a really, really smart horse, and we really like her, and she's quite careful and Obviously this is very new to her and she's still quite green and learning, so these horses, when they're starting off, they do go through these learning phases of not really understanding what you're asking of them, and in these early times it's sort of my job just to nurse her through and guide her through and let her have a look, but still be firm enough to so that she knows that
Give her the confidence too.
She needs to jump this when she's presented to it. But she's got all the ability there. She's got a very powerful jump. She will have a good gallop, and she's got the movement there for the dressage. So she's an exciting young horse that Chris has got his hands on. Yes.
You can see why there is such a demand for thoroughbreds now. It's increasing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. More thoroughbred shows are being put on and classes, which has been a big factor, and obviously the inclusion of the Equimillions event is a great initiative that's been introduced the last few years. We're always keeping an eye out for the thoroughbreds just because of they're a very versatile breed that if they're not going to be good enough on the track, they have lots of other avenues that they can go down. I mean, we've actually got a lead pony for our breakers. It's an old 10 or 12-year-old gelding that leads some of the difficult breakers around. They are an awesome breed of horse. Yeah, no, we enjoy working with them.